cat doesn't want to rip straight because we got two new tips, one in the middle, one on one side. Matt doesn't want to rip straight because we got two new tips, one in the middle, one on one side. So Jake's ripping right now. Matt went to the store. He'll be back shortly. So we're getting down to where the material changes color. This white looking stuff, boy, that's harder, it's back of your head. The darker tan stuff, orangey color, that's hard. So we can get through this black stuff over here okay, he just has to go through it several times. So let's go have a look-see. So we'll run an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then we got to stop for an hour while we rip, or we can't dig it. See, it's picking the back of that tractor up, but it's getting through it. You can see there's one spot here, and over this way it's starting to peter out. I don't know if we'll get rid of it or not, or we'll run into something worse underneath. Still got a lot of rock right there, nasty stuff. Fun. So we like to keep our cut clean. You get on scraper jobs where a lot of the operators have just been taught to blow and go. It gets pretty rough and nasty, and I'll show you later how we keep it smooth. So there's the rock that we've gone through, and over there on that wall you can see we've gone through 6 feet of it. It's cold out here. I'm gonna go sit in the scraper. I got a heater on in there. So what we'll do is we'll cut. If Matt's got the time, when he backs up, he'll smooth the trailing out. But every time I come in, I drop the can down fairly low just to smooth things up. And then Matt will park where we're gonna load, and I'll swing right in front of him and corkscrew around to get straight, and then he'll catch me on the fly. And the way you do that with a hard blade, and what I mean by that is a regular dozer, is you carry it up high so that the cup of the blade catches the stinger. That way when you hit them, it tends to want to lift the back of the scraper, takes the bang out of it. Production outfits loading a lot of scrapers will use a C dozer, which is a cushion blade, and you hit them towards the top of the blade, and it's got a bunch of big rubber springy cushion deals that take the impact out. But the problem with those blades is they're only as wide as the tracks, and they don't, I mean, there's no tilt. So you can't straighten things up, you can't cut next to the walls, And so that's probably your next question, is why do the walls look like this? Because it doesn't matter. I guess if we really wanted to do it and we had the money in it, we'd have brought the grader and cut the walls. But like I said, it doesn't matter. You're just gonna bury garbage in here. And every hole we've dug since '94, and we've dug them all, we've never ever seen a wall cave off. And I know a lot of people say, yeah, but you can't do that because it's a cave-in hazard. Well, you can because of the width of this hole. When we first started doing it, yeah, it got scary. You're right up next to that wall with a cat and a scraper. But like I said, the material is so hard that it just doesn't come down. I've never seen the walls ever cave off down here. So what we'll do is we'll come through and we'll load all the way to like this end, and then we turn around and grab those trailings and come back one more time. We've already been across twice. We've been this way and that way, and we got to rip it again. That one outside tip on that shank is it's just all but gone. And the bad thing is I ordered a new tip from a cat dealer. It's got to come from the Spokane warehouse, and I didn't want to pay the freight on it because here's what's happening. I remember telling you about the gasket I ordered. It was a $6 gasket, weighed 0.14 ounce, and they charged me $65 to get it here the next day. So my understanding is that Caterpillar hits the dealer with a charge for not having those parts in stock, and then my dealer turns around and passes that on to me, and then adds I don't know how much. It's horrible. And turn the defroster on, fan. So they're really taking advantage of that and charging us an exorbitant amount of money. And it would have been interesting to have brought it in so it was here today and see what the freight would be on that tooth. It's a little heavier than that gasket. But the freight charges are killing me, and it's retarded. It used to be, and I was told, that Caterpillar hit the dealer 8% for the parts they didn't have in stock for a customer. And I think my dealers figured out how to get it back plus 10 times more. I wish Cat would step in and do something about it. I just think it's unfair. It's not good business practice. You can't expect a customer to wait 2 days to get his part. If you wanted it tomorrow, why can't they put it on the truck and bring it tomorrow for a reasonable amount of money instead of hammering you? I just get really sick and tired of it. I'll find out what's going on. Somehow, some way, I'll find out. Oh, that's high. There's off. I just think it's a shitty deal to charge the customer an exorbitant amount of money to bring it in the next day. Maybe Cat is charging them a lot of money, but if they are, they're going to start losing market share. I mean, what's the point of paying all that money to get parts? You know, Cat used to always talk about, you know, their parts supply system and how extensive it is and blah, blah, blah. Well, my dealer doesn't stock parts that Jeff Anderson needs for his older iron. Some of it, you know, is discontinued, whatever. But air filters, come on. You can't stop. The 2 parts managers ago, I had a really good parts manager. He was the next parts guy. He just came to me and he said, "Jeff, where are you getting your filters?" And I said, "I get them from Pioneer Equipment. I'm buying Fleet Guard because they stock them." And he says, "Well, if we stock them, will you buy them from us?" I said, "Sure." So while he was there for a couple of years, I was buying them from my Cat dealer, and then when he left, they quit stocking them. So I've quit buying them from him. It's like this Rupert tooth deal. So they only stock the general tip, which is a big wide flat one, and the ones I'm using are penetration, and they don't stock them. And I'll bet money if I went down for cutting edges, I couldn't get cutting edges. Probably couldn't get a router bit. So I had a guy send me a deal, outfit in Salt Lake, and that's where they get theirs, and I'll probably be talking to them. If my dealer's not going to carry it, and I have to order it in from my dealer, and I have to stock it myself, and have all that money sitting around in stocked parts, why should I buy anything from them? I might as well buy it from somebody else that's probably going to be cheaper and stock it. At least that way I guess I know what I have or don't have, what I can get and what I can't get. So I don't know. I just know if they looked at how much money I spent with them anymore, it's not very much, because I've found other places to get parts. And like I say, if I have to stock them, I'm going somewhere else where it's cheaper. Because a lot of parts you buy from Cat now, they're just aftermarket crap anyway. It's not the original high quality parts these machines came out of the factory with. It's aftermarket. So why should I pay almost double for aftermarket stuff from my Cat dealer when I can just go around and buy it somewhere else? Been buying a lot of stuff from American Crane and Tractor Parts, and a lot of times I'll get genuine Cat surplus stuff. It won't be aftermarket. It'll be in a Cat box. The old stuff. It'll have the Pac-Man logo on it. That's how old it is. All right. Well, Jake and I will probably go find something to eat. Matt's going back over to run the Cat, so we probably got another hour to wait here to done. So I want to show you how we load. So after we got done ripping it, we started here. And this is what it looks like after we've been across it. So we're moving farther to that end. So I always drop my bowl down. So I'm just lightly dragging so that I can knock any high spots off or chunks we've left. Matt does a pretty good job of backblading the trailings. So generally the way we do this to keep it clean is I'm going to put my left wheel right over here, right on the other side of this trailing where Jake just loaded out. And we're going to pull up in here to this blob of trailings that was left from the last time. You want to start loading into your trailings because that stuff's loose and you want to shove that in the can first and then move into this more solid material. And then I always hold it in second gear until I get the door shut. So I usually always end up with a rock or something in there. I gotta open it and shut it one more time so I'm not dribbling rocks, sharp rocks on the haul road. So all this up in here has been ripped, and we just kind of drug us a trail up through here to get out. So we didn't want to climb this steep hill this morning when it was rainy and slick. So we've started us another rack on this side coming up. It's such a short distance that by the time we get all that material, I don't know if we're going to get it all in here. It's going to be so dang steep. So this is dumping on the outside edge on your blind side. You gotta pay attention so you don't go off. So we had snow on the ground this morning, and then it started raining, so the snow's gone. According to the weather forecast, it's not really going to get cold enough to stick, but Thanksgiving is Thursday, today's Tuesday, so we usually feel pretty lucky if we can work till Thanksgiving before the snow shuts us down or the extreme cold. But on this particular job, we're just going to keep going. No matter what, we have to get it done. I suppose worst case, we could leave everything here and come back in the spring if it got that bad. They've got enough hole over there to last them through the winter. You just don't get a lot of C&D in the winter. So again, I'm going to come in here and put my left wheel right down in here where Jake cut last time. Sometimes it works out, Mac can catch me on the fly, sometimes I just gotta stop. So we'll just keep doing this clear up there till these trailings are on the ramp on this other end, and then we'll turn around and come back if we can get loaded. If not, then he's got to start ripping this again. So we worked a little over 2 hours this morning, had everything out that he'd ripped. Now we had to wait just a little over an hour for him to get through, rip it all again. So we still got some bad rock up here. It loads good after he rips it. So somebody wanted to know why we weren't loading towards the dump site, the pile that now we're fogging up in here again. They said, I thought you were supposed to load towards the dump site. Well, you can't do that in scrapers because you have to turn around. If you continually load one way, your trailings are going to pile up. And you got to turn around. And I think he made the comment because we happen to be loading down on that south end. That south end is still really good, clean dirt. And so what we do is we come down the ramp and into the hole and we load, and then we just turn around and crawl back up out. And we dump that material right in front of me up there. That's all clean dirt. And so the more clean dirt that we can get out, get piled for them, the better. They'll have to use this junk stuff to build sails with. And I just kind of envision them building a berm on 3 sides and then dumping your crap and pushing it up to the top of the berm and walking on it as you do that. I think they'll get way better compaction. Right now, they got a 963 and they're just pushing it out across the hole and letting it fall 30 feet deep. And you know, the top's getting compacted by that crawler, but what's underneath isn't. And so this big hole that we're digging here, we generally try to leave them a ramp on one side that's not as steep. But if they dump here and they push it down this slope and walk on it, it's going to take a little more effort, but in the long run, I think they'll get a better compaction. They'll get way more material in here, especially where you got a lot of wood products. The more you run on it with a crawler, the tighter it, you know, it's going to chew it up, get rid of the voids. So as you can see, that black stuff, after they rip it, it just looks like black sand. But out in here you can see where it kind of turns to gray. That's where it's hard. And those rippers will just bang up over that. I have no idea what this material is. There's a lot of obsidian in it. Looks like sand, but it ain't sand. So when you're being push loaded and you're in a twin engine scraper, I got my foot cocked on the throttles. I don't know if you can see the flapper on the back, but that motor ain't running very fast. And when we get in these rocks, I'll take my foot off the accelerator completely and then reduce the power on the tractor way down. See, I can get a big heaping ass load of that stuff. But if it isn't ripped, all it does is lift the wheels off the scraper, trying to put enough down pressure to cut it. If I had one of those little cheap Mobius cameras, I'd put it under on the scraper floor and let you watch the sparks and the smoke fly off the cutting edges when you get into that stuff. I gotta have the fan running in here all the time. It's just too much moisture outside. The minute I turn it off, the windows will start to fog, I'm sure. Sometimes if you open the door, it goes away. So then when we get to the edges, a lot of times we'll double, triple cut next to the edge and get it cut down so that it isn't tippy. So let's see how much of this I can get out of here, because it looks like we're getting down to some hard stuff again. Yeah, I think my ass is off the ground there. It just does, it's like it doesn't want to go in too good. There, we went in. She ain't loading too good. Here she comes. Here comes the black. Oh, you gotta pump load it too to really fill it up. Pick the can up, slam it down. Pick it up, slam it down. There we go. That's a load. So you really got to pay attention where you're driving. Watch those rocks. Dodge some of the nasty sharp ones. Try to drag them with a can. Flip them over. So people probably wonder why I have twin engine scrapers, why we don't have singles. Because singles have their place, but a single is really best on fairly flat ground, not a lot of grades, no mud, and you're gonna push them all the time. They ain't gonna load themselves. And then you get jobs like this where you got to go practically straight up and down to get on top of the pile. A single just isn't going to climb that. So, are we going to be done by the end of the week? No, I don't think so. Matt can't be here tomorrow, so it'll be just me and Jake. So it'll be one scraper and a bush cat, and that's how I used to dig all of them. This scraper and that dozer. I think the first holes I dug, it just had a ROPS canopy. I didn't even have a ripper. Ask me how I dug that crap without a ripper. You have to get real creative. So you got hard pan with a scraper and you don't got a ripper on the cat. If you have to, you dump a little dirt one side of where you're going to start to cut, and then you come up, you get your rear wheel on that so it tips you, and then you jam it in the ground, and you use the corner to get down in. It ain't fun, but it works. The first time I did it, I didn't have any idea what I was in for. And that's why I say every time that they decide I'm too much money or something and they need to bid it out, somebody comes along, I always tell them, I just say, hey, you got to tell them how much rock's in here and what it takes to get it out, because they come in and bid it for half, and they get down in there and say, rock clause. You got to be able to say, there's rock. It's rippable rock, but you're going to have to remove it so that it's all up front. They can't come back and cry rock clause. You're not going to come in here with belted ag tractors or rubber tired ag tractors and move this stuff. You're just not going to do it. You might move the dirt on top, but you ain't moving what's underneath it. Every tool has its place and purpose. And there's some things that belted ag tractors do, and they do it well. They're excellent for keeping haul roads clean and crap on grade if they got GPS or laser. If you got a lot of these big scrapers running, they'll work good for that. Clean up and finish machines, but for out and out hogging dirt, they ain't got it. I know some will disagree with me, and I know somebody who used to move a lot of dirt with them, but it wasn't this kind of stuff. You're not going to come in with a belted or a rubber tired tractor and move this garbage. It just ain't happening. Listen to that old girl grunt. You know, ever since I put the switchblade turbo on here, I can push the tranny hold and I can lug this thing clear down to 1,000 RPM. I've even gone as low as 900. And the old T1810 turbos that were on them would die about 1,300. It just starts smoking like a pig. Starting to fog again. And for ride comfort, conventional motor scraper with a cushion hitch, you can't beat them. I mean, they just go like hell. Could you do this with a paddle scraper? Hell no. You could, like I say, you could get the dirt off. That top is just dirt. Anything that moves dirt like that, load it. But you get down here, and then it's time for the big stuff. I don't think you could do this with anything smaller than a D9. I don't think it would be possible to rip it. You gotta have a lot of weight and a lot of power to get through this. Now you could use smaller open bowl scrapers. You could go 27s, but you're not gonna use singles. There's just no way you can climb those piles. So Matt is pushing me in second gear. When you push pull, you load in second gear. I actually think you could do it in third gear if you hold the tranny hold down. You get 3 of them hooked together, you can push pull in third. But the reason he pushes in second is because I got the scraper in second gear, and the reason I do is for more torque converter slip. If you go to first, it's just too easy to spin the wheels. Second gear makes it a little harder, and because I'm in second gear, the dozer needs to be in second gear to keep up with it until you get down where you're really loading hard. But that 9 will still load this, pushing in second gear. Sometimes we get in those nasty rocks where I have to let go of the throttles, basically not using the tractor hardly at all. My foot's off the scraper throttle. He'll have to get down into first to get enough grunt to do it. But the problem is in first he starts to spin on that rock, and it just shakes and beats the cat to death. Spins those grousers. This is not easy dirt. I'm sure there's guys that are going, oh, you should do this, we did this and that. Yeah, I'm sure you did. Everybody's got a better horror story. But if somebody's thinking about bidding on this and doing it, and you're watching my video, I don't care if you bid it, I don't care if you do it, because I may never do another one down here again at my age, unless the boys are doing this and they want to mess with this crap again. But this is tough digging. And you can cry and whine all you want to them, they're not going to let you off the hook. If you haven't got big enough iron to do it, well, you're going to have to go find big enough iron. You want to play with the big boys, you gotta have the big toys. You gotta have that extra large dildo with the D-size batteries. So you can see, we keep this pretty dang smooth. It'll increase your cycle time, just makes life a whole lot better to have it smooth. You load better, you bitch less. Oh, there we go. Yeah, let me see, now we're gonna go through the rock here. And so we're kind of pushing the trailings up on top of that rough rock. And if you can push your trailings up on there, it makes life a whole lot easier to load it. You don't have to worry about cutting tires. That shit don't want to load with a dang. Can't run her over. Very good. There we go. We're loaded. Get your ass out of here. Time to open the door again. Get rid of some moisture. See, all of this that I'm driving on now, see, there's an old hole there. There's holes all the way down through here, but right here is basically the end of the ramps where we come out of the hole, and there's never been anything put here. And my suggestion to them was they need to dig all that out right there, get it down level with the road into where they pull the trailers in to put garbage, and then put their dead animal pits in there or something.